Look at that sexy hair. I want to touch it so badly, my wife yelled, as the thick-haired African tribesmen started performing the final stage of their sacred hair regeneration and growth ritual. It was a hot July afternoon. We had just arrived on the island, and there they were. 49 men and women of all ages, from long hair to short hair, some men with beards I've only dreamed about, and women, their curls shining like polished ebony in the sunshine, their skin glowing like those of princesses, and dreadlocks so huge it would have made any person alive die with jealousy in a split second if they saw them. It was pure madness. And it was that exact moment which led me to discover the incredibly well-kept secret of the Himba tribesmen with horse-sized ponytails. A ritual passed from generation to generation and carefully guarded by every man and woman from their tribe, literally at the price of their lives, based on a super growth cocktail that goes back over 2,000 years and can increase any person's hair density by 88%, even if you're as bald as an egg. So stay right where you are for the next 3.5 minutes, because I'm gonna show you how you too can use the same super cocktail and regrow your hair with at least 2,200 strands per square inch, just like over 120,000 men and women have done it before you. What I'm about to tell you will shake the hair growth industry from its very core and will change everything you thought was real about going bald. You see, doctors all around the world falsely claim that losing your hair is just as normal as it is common. But as you'll soon see, even though this is very common, there's absolutely nothing normal about it. Because the real truth is that today, going bald is completely optional. You don't need to rub your scalp daily with insane lotions, sprays, or foams. You don't need to waste thousands on laser therapies. And you definitely don't need a life-threatening hair transplant. Instead, as the latest clinical studies prove, in order to get thicker, fuller hair and get rid of bald spots, all you need to do is fix a dangerous leak happening inside your body right now. First, I'll show you where this insidious leak comes from so you can see it for yourself how badly it affected your hair follicles. Then, I'll share with you the incredible secret of the Himba tribesmen that you can use at home to increase the number of hairs produced by every follicle by at least 2, 3, and even 4 strands in just a few weeks. And finally, I'll show you all the scientific evidence that proves this clinically tested method is guaranteed to work for any man or woman out there. This secret ritual comes with a whole bunch of other advantages. It'll help you get stronger, longer hair, giving you a thicker, more defined hairline. It'll also significantly increase your energy levels, turbo boost your social life, and even help you lose those nasty extra pounds off your belly. So, listen up, because we don't have much time left. If you're over 25 and secretly wish for a simple way to restore that bold mane of hair you used to have, but haven't been able to until now, then continue watching this presentation because your life and your hair are about to change forever. Trust me, I know how it feels to have your gut freeze every time she reaches out to touch your head and only finds those ridiculous scraggly hairs. Or to be completely humiliated when some people on the street accidentally see your bald spots on a windy day and look at you like you suffer from some illness. But right now, for the first time in your life, all this can change. Because today, having a full head of hair is solely at your own discretion. Of course, I don't want you to simply trust me on this. Instead, I want you to hear from some of the 120,000 other men and women whose lives have been completely changed by this program. To be honest, stories like these don't even impress me anymore. Every day, our inbox is filled with dozens of success stories like the ones you just heard, and they all confirm how incredible this extract is. And I should know, because not too long ago, I saw it with my own eyes. Hi, my name is John Linkletter. Ever since I graduated from the Yukon School of Medicine, I only had one goal in mind: to find a way out of the nightmare of going bald that's been plaguing my life since I was 19. During my long career, I worked with many prestigious doctors, experts in their fields, people who've shared my dream, but also others who were so caught up in their classic treatment methods that they couldn't even see anything else clearly enough to take a chance on even looking at my alternative way of thinking. I've seen and treated every single scalp and hair-related condition, including hard cases of alopecia areata, male pattern baldness, AGA, telogen effluvium, and even people who lost their hair due to chemo. I was also honored to have been a part of an elite team of researchers and medical experts that found the key chemical components of what was later released in the world as finasteride. In my over 35 years of experience, I have helped over 5,000 American men and women regrow their healthy hair and confidence. But my long life dream never changed. I wanted to prove to myself and the entire medical community that hair loss is not a life sentence. Almost 12 years ago, I started my own private next-generation laboratory, together with some of the most brilliant scientists I've met along the road. Ever since then, we've been working with one purpose in mind: to research and develop an effective solution that will help any man or woman out there stop shedding immediately and restore all the hair they've ever lost. Now, before we continue, I need to explain something very important. You see, 85% of men in the US are balding by their mid-40s, according to the American Hair Loss Association. And since it's so common, every dermatologist you'd go to says it's just normal and there's nothing wrong with it. But that's a flat-out lie. Because as you'll soon see, there's absolutely nothing normal with losing your hair while you are still young and healthy. Hair is just a natural part of your body, an organ, just like your teeth. So why should losing your hair be less a catastrophe than losing your teeth? Now, a medical researcher's life isn't easy. You get a lot of sleepless nights, a neglected family, and months of being absent from your home due to your job. I spent a lot of time abroad, working in high-tech labs in Turkey or Germany, being part of international research teams, performing clinical research on male baldness and pattern hair loss. I remember all those moments when I left my family home, completely on their own. I used to blame myself all the time for that, but the stakes were too high. You see, in my opinion, every disease, illness, or health problem already has a natural, organic solution left to be discovered in nature. We just have to find it. That's why every year I would take 1 month off and visit every indigenous place I could find, looking for the ancient natural solutions against hair loss that those people used. From the deep, dark Amazonian forest to the beautiful lands of Tibet and India and the forgotten Japanese villages. During my trips, I collected and analyzed hundreds of herbs, plants, and even tree-produced oils. Some are already well known in the part of the medical community that specializes in hair loss, and while they may help recover some of the dormant follicles, each one of them was completely useless when it comes to actually fighting androgenetic alopecia. I'll have to admit, things didn't look so good. I remember the night after the last trip when I came back to my wife. She had never seen me so upset in all my years. I felt stuck, as if nothing I was doing seemed to work. But if there was something that I never lost in all my life, that was hope. Because as my mentor used to say, real accomplishments in life always need to begin with a little bit of faith. And everything truly happens for a reason, because the call I would receive the next day changed my life forever. It was from a colleague of mine, Norman. "John, you have to see this," he said to me in a mysterious voice. Now, I knew he was onto something, but never in my wildest dreams have I dreamed of what would happen next. "Listen, one of my collaborators just called me to tell me about a remote African island where rich people go to treat their hair loss. He had found this in his recent travels. Apparently, they use some sort of plant-infused potion." "Stop right there, Norman," I said to him calmly. "We're scientists, and you know very well there's no such thing as magic potions." Norman paused for a second. Then he started explaining how these tribesmen are literally defying science through their hair growth ritual. But I needed more than that. So I spoke more with Norman, getting him to give me the location of this tribe. I decided to take my wife with me, since she's a professor in anthropology and could help me understand the tribe's native language. Now, please be warned, because what follows next is not for the weak of heart. After what I believe was the most time spent on an airplane plus 2 hours by boat, my wife and I finally found the remote indigenous African tribe. From the moment we stepped foot on the island, my wife and I stood there in shock. I honestly tell you that all my years of medical research in the clinical trichology field could not have prepared me for this. We had just landed on the shore of their island, and there they were. More than a dozen natives standing in front of the tribe's elderly, performing the sacred hair growth ceremony, or Sagaramaba by its local name. A couple more lucky tourists, who looked really rich, were quietly sitting in the back, watching the whole process. And let me tell you, their thick black manes were absolutely insane. Strong, dense hair covering every inch of their heads, absolutely no doubt the most impressive picture I have seen in all my long medical career. It was absolutely insane. What in the world do these people do in order to have those luscious, thick locks? I asked myself. In the middle of the jungle, with no fancy shampoos or conditioners, and literally no hair product at all, each one of these people was still rocking tons of swinging layers. Little did I know back then that the answer to this question was going to shock me. The truth is, science has already proven that African people have thicker hair than white men or women. In fact, in a recent research paper published by Medscape Journal involving over 110 countries, stated that the lowest rates of androgenetic alopecia is found in Africans and Eskimos. Africans count for the top 3% of the world's best hair quality. But my main question was, why? I needed to find out if this was due to genetics or something else, something stranger. So I spent the next couple of weeks trying to get as close as possible to the tribe's elders. We actually became good friends, and I was happy to share my medical knowledge with them, teaching them simple emergency procedures like how to safely stop an open wound from bleeding or how to give CPR. But at the same time, I wanted to find out what was hidden behind their secret hair growth ceremony and the shockingly strong hair these people had. The tribal elders appreciated the help, and with each day that went by, they slowly began sharing the secret behind this well-kept secret ritual. They said that in their tribe, most babies are already born with a lot of hair on their heads, and that's due to their parents adding a few powerful plants to their daily meals. But if by misfortune someone is born without hair on their head, which is considered an illness in their tribe, they use their sacred hair growth ritual, and the newborn's scalp immediately starts to fill up. What's more important is that the tribesmen are advised to consume these plants and herbs every day to prevent any hormonal balance or sexual dysfunctions. This recipe, as the elderly confessed, has been in their families for centuries and was passed from generation to generation. It's all due to the lands we live in and the plants we have here. The secret to our good hair has been here for thousands of years, one of the tribe elderly said. But is what they're saying truly possible? I asked myself. Can an ancient ritual and some strange herbs really regrow your hair? Or was it really all down to science, and in fact the quality of their hair and 0% rate of baldness was entirely due to their genetics? I knew if I wanted to find the answer, I needed to test it myself. And to be honest, I had a good reason to. You see, it's painful for me to admit this, but I was balding too. You may not notice it at first because I wear hats all the time, even indoors. But, I know it, and my wife knows it too. She just never said anything to me, even though we've been married for almost 15 years. Well, she never said it to me in my face. But a while ago, I heard her talking over the phone with one of her friends, saying how sick she gets when we make love and my falling hairs go in her eyes or mouth. It felt like a cold steel blade was passing through my gut. And it felt so terrible because deep down, I knew she was right. Just go online and try to do a quick search on "Does hair affect attractiveness?" What you'll find will shock you. New research published in the journal Evolutionary Psychological Science found that bald men were judged to be less successful and less attractive by women. In the study, 120 women were shown pictures of men with or without hair, then asked to rate their personalities and traits. Young women judged the man without hair to be significantly less attractive. Not to mention all the online articles and forum posts where men share their confidence struggles and stories about being cheated on just because their spouse wanted someone better looking. In fact, peer-reviewed publishings show that more than 50% of women would never consider getting into a relationship with a man with a balding crown. I knew I had a choice to make. I would either face a life of betrayal and humiliation, or buck up and fix this once and for all. I can do this, I said to myself. So, I decided to give the sacred African hair growth ritual a try. Even though I was skeptical right from the start. Sure, I was intrigued, especially since I've seen those indigenous people performing it with staggering results. There had to be an explanation. As a scientist, I somehow thought for sure it had to do with genetics. But as the tribe elders explained to me, every now and then, a handful of very rich people, mainly Chinese billionaires, come to the island and pay large amounts of money to use this ritual and regrow their hair. And 9 out of 10 of them get staggering results. Even in the most severe cases, after only performing the ritual twice, 100% of them successfully restored all the hair they've lost. All this with 0 side effects. Because, as the tribal elders confessed, this compound is all organic and natural. So, a couple days later, under the careful supervision of the tribe's elders, I started the hair growth ritual. The core of it was to drink this strange cocktail they prepared for me. From what I've been told, the compounds found in the cocktail were extracted from the plants found around the island. The tribe's elders used a special process, drying the herbs, boiling them, and adding their secret oil mix. They would take the end result, put it in a large pot, and bury it 2 feet underground for 24 hours, and only then the cocktail would be ready to use. Now, of course, I started documenting everything. After I started to drink the cocktail, for the first few days, I didn't see any changes to my scalp, except for the fact that it felt like something curious was happening inside me. Like I had more energy, I felt stronger and more powerful than usual. Then there was something else I noticed happening from the first day since I started the ritual. I would always feel a different texture when I touched my bald spots, like there was hair growing, but I couldn't see it yet. But then a few days later, something incredible happened. As I looked in the mirror at the back of my head, my heart skipped a bit. It had finally happened. My bald crown was filled with hair. I was so surprised to see hundreds of newborn hairs showing up and covering my skin head. I couldn't believe my eyes. My eyes were so used to seeing that bald skin on the top of my head that my brain was hardly able to process it. Now, after this initial improvement, the good news kept coming. Then, as days went by, more and more hair appeared on my scalp, and the shedding dropped to almost zero. Shortly after that, my entire head was filled with strong, thick hair, as I was honestly more and more amazed and shocked. Just weeks later, I was a new person. For the first time in my life, I felt like a real man. But the results didn't just stop here. Other parts of my body seemed to benefit as well. My skin looked healthier, my muscles were growing, and looked more defined, although I didn't perform any exercises during that period. I even noticed how I actually lost a lot of that belly fat I had gained over the years. My energy levels were skyrocketing, and to be completely honest, even my little guy down there seemed to gain a few extra inches. Was that my imagination? And I can't even begin to tell you how happy I was. I finally regrew all my hair again, and not even a single piece of it fell out during the process. It was an extreme feeling of liberation. Then, one morning, as I woke up and ran my hands through my hair, to my absolute shock, my hair felt thick and coarse like a cleaning brush. That was the moment when the tribe's elders decided I should stop the ritual. I was extremely confident that this was the holy grail of hair growth and the thing I've been looking for all these years. My lifelong dream to end the suffering of millions of folks out there, including myself. I just couldn't let it be. I managed to follow around the tribe's elders for the next couple of weeks and secretly write down every plant and herb they used in the ritual and the exact way in which they dried, boiled, and mixed each one of the ingredients. As soon as I finished my writings, I headed back to the States and began my work at the laboratory. So I teamed up with a colleague of mine, Dr. Krauss, and we started a double-blind and placebo-controlled study so that we could prove conclusively, with 100% surety, this ritual is guaranteed to regrow anyone's hair, no matter how advanced the thinning. The first thing we did was gather a group of 120 volunteers. We specifically asked them to be between 20 and 65 years old and wanted to include people with all patterns of hair loss, from receding hairlines to balding crowns, diffuse thinning, or completely bald heads. Some of them were extremely difficult cases. Senior Americans who never in a million years believed they could get back control over their hair, something so important, yet so many ignorant people take it for granted. But little did they know that their world was soon about to change. In fact, the entire scientific community was going to change after seeing the results of this experiment. But before I tell you what happened next, let me show you something extremely strange that I've discovered during our research. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. Because it was this exact moment that made me finally uncover the real mechanism behind the human hair growth cycle. You see, during our study, among other things, we asked our volunteers to do two things. First, they had to change their pillowcase every morning and send us the used one for tests for 2 weeks. Second, we asked them to let us take high-resolution photos of their scalp using cutting-edge cameras. All this under strict and absolute anonymity, of course. What we found was that all people, with no exception, that suffered from hair disorders had two major things in common. First, their pillowcase indicated the same sweating pattern, which was 70% higher than the normal night sweat. And second, their scalp tissue had the same greasy, shiny appearance. Sure, this wasn't just a coincidence, but what was causing all this? You see, what Dr. Krause and I uncovered was the fact that all volunteers with hair loss were passing all the essential nutrients their hair needed out through their sweat. And this was causing two side effects in their bodies. First, their scalp was shiny. Then, due to this nutrient deficiency, the skin of their head would turn a very subtle nuance of redness. And what we found was truly shocking. Let me explain. Not many people are aware of this, but in order for your hair to grow, as well as your other organs, it needs what scientists call essential growth nutrients. These essential growth nutrients are in fact the key to a proper development of the hair, as well as your entire body. Usually, your body assimilates them from food. Essential compounds like vitamin E, vitamin B3, and minerals, iron, amino acids, calcium, or potassium, which are all found in the fruit produced by a tree called Sclerocaria berea, or otherwise known as the African marula tree. No wonder African people safely prepare and consume this fruit on a regular basis. In order for your hair to grow, your body needs these organic compounds, like your brain needs oxygen. Now, you may wonder, if all I need is these nutrients, why not just fill my body and scalp with them? Well, it doesn't work like that. You see, for some men, things were simpler, since their body was capable of properly assimilating all these important substances. Unfortunately for you, ever since you were born, your body has had some level of nutrient deficiency, hence the current condition of your hair. This happens due to a certain blockage inside your scalp's sweat glands, which makes your body incapable of absorbing these critical organic compounds. And the reason there are not enough resources to feed your scalp too is because you eliminate all these essential nutrients via sweat. Now, you may ask, but what's with the subtle shiny skin that every man with hair loss issues had on their scalp that we uncovered during our study? Well, it's like this. You may have heard about allergies. An allergy is an immune system response to a foreign substance, usually one that's not harmful to your body. Some people have no allergies, while others are mildly or even severely allergic. The same thing happens to your body when it comes to your hair cycle. Instead of assimilating these nutrients and helping your hair grow, ever since you were a little child, your body becomes allergic to them and blocks the absorption process. And depending on the stage of your hair loss, your body is mildly or severely nutrient allergic. In the alopecia cases, the body reactions were so subtle, if it weren't for the super high-resolution cameras to take these incredible photos of the human scalp, we may have never noticed it, and androgenetic alopecia would have still been a mystery for science. It was the shiny tone of the scalp skin that was so common among all men with hair loss that literally shocked us as the computer was printing the results. So, to get back to the matter at hand, if your body is unable to properly assimilate these critical nutrients, which are basically what makes your hair grow, your follicles will keep shutting down, no matter what you do. So the real reason your follicles don't produce hairs anymore is not genetics or God's gift, as you are led to believe. But instead, it's all due to something much more simple that can be easily fixed, and that's your body's inability to assimilate the essential nutrients required for hair growth. Now, the good news is that there are certain natural compounds that can eliminate the assimilation blockage for good and give your hair all the nutrients it needs to become denser and stronger. The bad news is that you have to go to Africa to get them. But don't worry, in just a minute, I'll show you how you can get past this inconvenient hurdle. Now, if you still wonder if your hair can assimilate all the essential nutrients it needs to grow and stay healthy, here's a simple trick you can do to verify this. Just go to the bathroom and look over two things. First, does your scalp get greasy more often than it used to when you were a child? And second, are the bald spots on your head shinier than the rest of your scalp? If your answer is yes to at least one of the questions above, I'm sorry to say, but you may be eliminating all the essential growth nutrients through your sweat. This was exactly what was happening to our balding volunteers. Now, according to the CDC, 1 in 10 children suffer from food allergies, with more than 50% of American people reported to suffer from at least one allergic reaction. Actually, that shouldn't be a surprise at all. Moreover, according to a recent study published in the National Journal of Medicine, researchers observed that the scalp sweat of people that suffer from hair loss contained huge amounts of lactic acid. Now, let me ask you, did you ever wonder why most bald people have their scalp so shiny? In fact, if you pay attention to those people that tend to sweat a lot, they are either bald already or on the way to becoming bald. A 2020 randomized test performed on 1,659 men and women with hair loss showed that the lactic acid contained by the sweat, more precisely a larger quantity of sweat, reacted with the naturally present keratin molecules in the hair, damaging the natural roots of hair follicles. While lactic acid is good in some instances, it is very bad if it comes into contact with hair in excessive quantities. It gradually breaks down the hair's outer layer, which, in time, leads to the hair follicles to shrink and become much less productive. The lactic acid in the sweat will make the hair look and feel brittle, dry, and weak. Also, it has been shown that lactic acid is responsible for inflammation, which also negatively impacts the growth of hair because when inflammation occurs, the hair stops receiving a sufficient quantity of its much-needed blood supplies, which carry oxygen and nutrients. This usually results in premature balding, weak and thinning hair, low sex drive, and, what's worse, shortening your hair lifespan by more than 19 years. That's why, no matter what you do, if your sweat system is clogged and your follicles can't assimilate all these essential nutrients, it will be impossible to get them to produce hair. It's like trying to eat cooked spaghetti through a straw. Or, better yet, it's like trying to pour water into a closed bottle. So, what do? You open the bottle first, right? Now, before I tell you how simple it actually is to unlock the key to super growth of your hair and fix all these years of damage to it, let me do a quick recap. Because of the blockage happening inside your sweat glands, your scalp eliminates all the essential nutrients it needs to grow. That's why your hair started to be thinner and prone to breakage in the first place. Since your nutrient absorption process is broken and all the nutrients you need are passed out of your body via sweat, your body is trying to compensate, sending the scarce resources wherever it sees fit and wherever it is possible. For obvious reasons, your body chooses to supply your vital organs like heart, brain, or lungs, leaving your hair follicles deprived and dying because they are not essential to your survival. But there is one more that messes up your entire hair cycle, which is already disturbed by the lack of nutrients: lactic acid. Lactic acid present in sweat makes bald heads shine and is the main big culprit of hair loss. After accumulated on the scalp for a long period of time, lactic acid triggers an inflammatory process which leads to almost permanent hair follicle damage, so that hair does not grow as it should and is more prone to falling out. Ever since you reached puberty, without you even knowing it, you started eliminating essential nutrients through your sweat glands in your scalp, on one hand, and the lactic acid leak shrinked your follicles to death on the other hand. The end result? A bald, shiny scalp, damaged hair cycle, miniaturized follicles incapable of growing normal-sized hairs, and unfortunately what's even more scary, a 78% increased chance of developing severe hormonal imbalances. Now, getting back to the super African hair growth technique. Dr. Krause and I performed tests on over 120 brave volunteers, men and women of all races between 20 and 65 years old. Our blend had all the natural super compounds, including the sacred herb from the Himba tribe, which basically cleared the blockage and ensured the nutrient absorption process starts to function properly for immediate hair growth. Of course, I expected to see some results, but I sure as hell didn't expect to see them coming in that fast. Not long after we began, our phones were ringing like crazy with all these people explaining to us how they got their thick, luscious hair back even better than before their hair loss started. I almost thought they were joking. But then, the pictures arrived at our email servers. Take a look at this. Even the most skeptical ones, to their utter shock, got a full scalp of baby hair. But that's not even close to the good things that happened. 100% of the participants reported an increase of the density of their hair and reduced bald patches in just a few weeks from using the program. It was absolute madness. So we decided to take everything we've discovered and put everything into a simple method that anyone could follow. We started looking for companies that would help us bring the plants into the States in bulk and manufacture them into easy-to-consume gummies. I wanted to scream it out loud as I held in my hands the product that would finally give men and women all over the world an explosive growth of their hair. We called it Folixine. With its powerful mixture of 12 carefully selected ingredients, this 2,000-year-old African hair growth formula is the only one of its kind in the whole world. It's guaranteed to ultra-boost your hair growth on all areas of your scalp and increase your hair density in just a matter of weeks, and has already changed the lives of over 120,000 men and women. Each ingredient was carefully selected for its follicle-boosting properties. And when combined together in the right quantities, all the 12 superfoods have the ability to set you free from balding, no matter how naked your scalp is right now. Every Folixine gummy is made here in the US in our FDA-approved and GMP-certified facility under extremely sterile, strict, and precise conditions. All gummies are non-GMO and safe. They do not contain any stimulants or toxins, and they are not habit or tolerance forming. And what we achieved is what most experts would call a medical breakthrough. Here's a short explanation on how these ingredients work and why they are so powerful. Step 1. Your body absorbs these powerful nutrients. As soon as you've taken the first dose of Folixine, the nutrient absorption process begins. We combine 12 powerful ingredients chosen from selected locations such as Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, and even the Brazilian Amazon. All these compounds are essential for doing two things. First, to fix the blockage inside your sweat glands that's forcing your body to eliminate the growth nutrients through sweat. And second, to regulate the lactic acid levels in your sweat in order to restart the cellular growth of your hair. Since they are 100% natural and have been selected due to their purity, your body will immediately start absorbing them, and the growth of your hair will begin immediately. Step 2. Your scalp becomes blockage-free, and the healing process begins. Before the actual hair growth process happens, we need to repair the damage on your scalp level. This is extremely important. Since your hair follicles were deprived for so many years by these essential compounds, we need to restore their health before anything else. To achieve this, we selected a very precise combination of vitamin A and vitamin C. This powerful duo will supercharge your hair growth and force out the lactic acid that accumulated under your scalp. The way these two elements work when fused together is truly spectacular. Now, what's special about this type of vitamin C is that it's one of the most powerful types out there, since it's derived from calcium ascorbate. It's 79% stronger than the one you find in the stores or pharmacies. According to extensive research, vitamin C is regarded as one of the most important vitamins you can give to your hair because it's the primary element that helps collagen formation. Collagen is a naturally occurring protein in the human body that supports skin elasticity and healthy hair. Not only does it strengthen your hair roots, but also makes sure that the new hairs you'll grow will be of the best quality, strong, nourished, and easy to style. Enter vitamin A. Vitamin A is often one of those forgotten vitamins. It's mostly known for its positive effects on eye health. But what most people don't know is that the same artery that supplies eyes with vital nutrients also travels to the scalp. That means that if there is a shortage of nourishing substances in your eyes, the body will automatically feed the eye, depriving the scalp. Safely introducing highly bioavailable vitamin A in your system will both nourish your eyes and make sure nutrients have a free path to travel directly to the roots of your hair. Then, as soon as the healing process is done, your growth will begin immediately. Step 3. The hair growth cycle turns to normal. Now, pay attention, because from this point on, incredible things start to happen. First, to achieve explosive growth of your hair, we had to carefully select a proprietary blend of 12 ingredients. Our star ingredient is vitamin D3. Among the first symptoms of vitamin D3 deficiency is a sweaty head. If you have children, you probably remember that the first thing your physician asked you during the first months of your child's birth is whether your newborn has a sweaty head. The reason is simple. Sweaty head and excessive sweating is one of the first and earliest symptoms of low vitamin D3 levels. And guess what? A recent study published by Medscape shows that more than 60% of American citizens suffer from vitamin D3 deficiency. By supplying your body with its natural dose of vitamin D3, you make sure your head sweating is under control and therefore reduce both lactic acid and nutrient loss that blocks your hair from growing. Then, we added an extremely pure form of biotin extracted from a rare algae found in the Indian Ocean, which expedites the growth on a cellular level. Biotin restores keratin production in hair, which was disrupted by lactic acid buildups, and also increases the rate of follicle growth. It is also proven to prevent age-related hair loss. But we didn't stop here. We also added vitamin E, vitamin B6, folate, sodium, and iodine, all with one single purpose in mind: to help you turbo boost your hair growth on those bald patches inch after inch, both in length and density. As an added benefit, all these ingredients create a natural armor around your scalp, shielding it against scalp issues like dandruff and age-related hair loss. Step 4. You shield yourself against hair loss and revitalize your entire body. In just a few weeks, you'll start to notice a difference in your bald or thinning spots. This natural blend will increase hair density by 30%, 40%, and even 56% more than what you have now. And there's more. Because this blend is so powerful, every single cell of your body will start to transform and rejuvenate. Pantothenic acid, one of the star ingredients of Folixine, not only helps with hair regrowth, but it also helps you eliminate bad cholesterol from the bloodstream and turn the food you eat into the energy you need. So you can watch your hair grow and your belly fat disappear at the same time. You'll be able to sleep better, it'll help with your digestion, and even with losing weight. Moreover, this exact combination of these plants reduces stress and anxiety, making you feel stronger, happier, and healthier, and giving you better mental focus, boosting your memory and brain power. And of course, the ultimate goal for Folixine is to help you generate explosive growth of your hair. Every morning, you'll wake up stunned by your new hair. And the new powerful confidence you have will make you a king among men and women. Now, you probably have two questions by now. First, how do I get my hands on this? And second, in which quantities should I take Folixine? You see, it's hard for me to answer the first question. When we created Folixine, we knew that in order for this formula to work, we had to source only the highest quality ingredients. This makes our ability to keep high stocks on hand almost impossible. Now, since you're here, your package is reserved. But if you leave this page, we cannot guarantee supply when you come back. Then, regarding how you should use Folixine, the answer is simple. Take one soft gummy after breakfast, lunch, or dinner with a big glass of water for at least 30 days. Sure, you will see the external improvements fast, but the internal ones, well, they may take longer to heal. That's why, after analyzing the results of over 120,000 men and women who've successfully used this program, we recommend taking at least 3 bottles of Folixine over a period of 60 days. And if you want to be completely safe and don't take any chances, we recommend you take at least 6 bottles or more over a period of 120 days. This way, you'll be absolutely sure your hair will achieve its full potential and stay healthy and strong for the rest of your life. Over 100,000 men and women have used Folixine with mind-blowing results. The average increase in the number of individual strands per inch for each one of them is absolutely staggering. They also experience less greasy scalp, better skin, and even overall less sweating. Their sex drive and energy levels are skyrocketing, and their confidence levels are holding high and strong due to their new luxurious mane. Now, I hope you understand why I initially wanted to sell this program for $297. But while I could have easily done that and have people lining up, the truth is, I'm not here to make myself money. I'm almost retired. I made my money already. I'm here to make an impact and help as many men as possible get rid of the burden that's been following them for their entire lives, the one of not being good enough. Because with this program, you can finally regrow your hair to its full potential, just like God intended from the moment you were born. That's why I'm not going to ask you for $297 or even $97 for the program that has helped over 120,000 men just like you. While this website is still up, you can get the clinically proven formula that restores your head full of hair in just a few weeks from now for only $69 a bottle. Now, I know how important it is to 100% rejuvenate your scalp and make sure you shield yourself from premature baldness. That's why, after talking to our manufacturing partner, we decided to give a huge discount on the 3-bottle package of Folixine. You can get them for only $49 per bottle and also get free shipping from us for as long as the current supply lasts. Once we run out of stock, the discount is gone forever. So select the 3-bottle package or any other package you want and join the 120,000 happy men who now enjoy their new life where they 100% eliminated hair loss and bald spots off their head. Eventually, Big Pharma will see this. And when this happens, the secret will be fully blown and we'll be forced to take this website down. I simply don't have the resources to go head-to-head against the multi-billion-dollar giants and their high-dollar legal teams. So go ahead and select your package now. Why miss this incredible opportunity when it's one step away? Make this just a small yet extremely profitable investment that will pay dividends for the rest of your life. Yes, 3 bottles of Folixine will strengthen your hair follicles, nourish your scalp, and get rid of hair loss for the long term. Also repair the life-threatening blockage in your sweat glands, giving you a glorious mane any Hollywood star would look up to. But there is a reason why 98% of our users choose the 6 bottles package. Once you go with the 6 bottles package, in just 6 months from now, you'll basically train your own immune system to defeat hair loss, so your hair is basically guaranteed to stay on your head to deep old age. You'll shield yourself against the toxic processes attacking your scalp, giving you flawless hair, skyrocketing energy levels, and even boost your memory and focus. Many years will pass from now, and your hair will stay as strong and healthy as in your youth, and you'll be able to enjoy every moment of good, shiny hair, making you look decades younger. And of course, we want to help you as much as we can. That's why we're offering a big discount on the 3 and 6 bottle packages when you place your order today. It's up to you now. If you are tired of all those so-called solutions and are looking for something more than a temporary fix, then this is it. This is the all-in-one ultimate hair regrowth formula that is guaranteed to change your life immediately. If this sounds good to you, then look below now. Once you make your choice, you'll be taken to our secure checkout page. It takes less than a minute to enter your payment information, and once your order is confirmed, we'll directly ship Folixine straight to your doorstep. Select below now while stock lasts. Now, Folixine is guaranteed to get you that Hollywood-like glorious hair you always deserved. And that may seem a little shocking to you. I understand. After all, the hair loss industry giants have been preying on you from the moment you first set foot on their website. So let me change that now. We stand behind the power of this program. That's why with every bottle of Folixine, you get a 60-day no questions asked money-back guarantee. It works like this. You select one of the packages below and hit the buy button. You give this program a try and experience the results as tens of thousands of men did before you. You see how good it feels to always feel effortlessly handsome in your best-looking day, even when you just put on a tracksuit to walk your dog. And if for any reason whatsoever you are not satisfied with the results, even if you completely eliminated those bald spots but feel like your hair could be a little more dense, send me or Dr. Krause an email and we'll refund every penny you invested into this program. No hassle, no questions asked, no red tape. But you need to hurry. I made a lot of enemies by posting this program online. Vicious hair loss scammers who woke up this morning and noticed their bank account balance is a little slimmer than yesterday. Snake oil drug manufacturers who don't know what to do with their remaining inventory of cheap knockoff products. Even angry hair transplant clinic owners who may soon be left out of business as word has already begun to spread about this program in all corners of our country. Each one of them wants this site off the internet. So the next time my phone rings and I'm forced to take this program down, you'll be on your own. But why would you give up on your only real chance to knock off those bald spots forever and restore the density of your hair in just a few weeks, just like over 120,000 men who have done it before you? Why shouldn't you be among them when you have so little time to spend and so much to gain? You can give yourself a chance to change something today on this page and hit the buy button below. And enjoy the life you always deserved from the moment you were born. A life where you feel comfortable in your own skin, where you can get up from your bed every morning ready to take over the world. Because let's face it, life's sweeter for good-looking people. You'll be an old man or woman who can barely remember his grandchildren's names, but your hair will still be there, bold and strong, reminding you life is beautiful at any age. Click on the buy button below now and give this program a test try.